In this video, you'll learn how to keyword search with Boolean operators in an advanced search. Keyword searching in a database is a simple concept. What you type is what you get. We're all used to searching Google. Google search looks for the words you type into its search box, but it also looks for words like your words, in some sense, trying to read your mind, usually to connect you to advertisers. When you do a keyword search in a library database, the database is just looking for your words, not something like your words or what it thinks you actually meant to type. In a library database, you'll have a greater level of control over the whole search process. Now that you're doing collegiate level research, it's important to invest time in learning how to manage your search words carefully. We are currently in the database Academic Search Complete, looking at the Advanced Search feature. You can always tell when you're looking at an advanced search because there is more than one search box. It may look different depending on the interface. Some databases default to a simple search, and you may have to navigate to an advanced search. If you type the keyword squirrels into a database, it's only going to show you results that contain the word squirrels in the record somewhere. And right now, it is only searching the text of the records, not the full text of the PDF of the item itself. You can see the term showing up in the record in bold. It did pick up the singular here, squirrel, which is nice. What it's not going to do is throw in records with the word chipmunks because it thinks you might be interested in that as well. If you add a word to that same box, it will only show you results that contain both of these words, but not necessarily next to each other. It will look for the word red and the word squirrels, but it won't necessarily show you results that have those two words together, red squirrels. Always put quotation marks around words that you want treated as a phrase. Now these results are made up of records that must have the phrase red squirrels somewhere in the record. Putting quotes around phrases is a game changer for research. This works for Google searches as well and is a skill you should be using every day as you navigate the online world. Let's say you want to find some information about global warming. You would put that in quotes because it's a phrase. But then suddenly you realize that lots of authors will use the phrase climate change instead of global warming to talk about the same topic. Searching with the words global warming will only show you records that contain the phrase global warming somewhere in the record. Authors who use only the words climate change when discussing this topic will be left out of your results. Remember, with keyword searching, what you type is what you get. So this search needs to be expanded a little or you'll miss out on some relevant sources. Search for either global warming or climate change by using the Boolean operator OR. You can do this two different ways. Click on this little drop-down menu between the boxes and change the operator from AND to OR. Stay in one box and separate your terms with the word OR. For research at the university level, I recommend the second way. Keep it one concept per box. As you're typing, the database may suggest terms to you with ORs between the terms. These are just suggestions. It doesn't mean that it's the best or even better way to search. If you do click on a suggestion, you will need to go back and put phrases in quotation marks before you search. And a single word doesn't need quotation marks, just two or more words that you want to treat as a phrase. You can make these OR strings as long as you want. Just keep quotes around words you want to treat as phrases. Now let's say you want to do some research to see if global warming is having an effect on squirrels. When you want to find sources that cover more than one topic, you'll need to use more than one search word, and you'll need to connect those words with the Boolean operator AND. Using a Boolean operator AND works like the middle of a Venn diagram. This circle represents all the results that contain the phrase global warming in the record. This circle represents all the results that contain the word squirrels. The circles intersect where both terms are contained in a record. Using the AND operator narrows your results to show only the intersection of your two keywords. By using an AND, We are insisting that both the phrase global warming and the word squirrels show up in the records in our results. If both terms are not present in a record, that record will not be included in the results. There are two easy ways to use AND. An AND is assumed if you type two concepts into one box. Set this field to AND and type your other term in a different box. This search and this search are the same search. The second way is better because it allows us to easily add climate change back into the top box. The more complicated your search, the harder and more impractical it will be to keep it all in one search box. Remember, advanced searches always have more than one box. Take advantage of that and start searching with one concept per box. You can add as many boxes as you need. So in one box, let's put terms that have to do with global warming, connecting our synonyms with ORs. Set this Boolean operator to AND add squirrely words to this box. Always take a few seconds and ask yourself before you search, what is this search intended to produce? Well, it will have to have at least one thing from this box. But we're saying any one of these phrases is fine. And it must also have the word squirrels. Here are the results. And we can see all of our search terms showing up here. If you wanted to go back and add a synonym for squirrels, maybe the Latin designation, you already have your terms separated, you can just add that in with an OR. And then it would also include records that used that word. There is one more Boolean operator that you can use, and that is not. Use not to exclude records that contain terms that you don't want to show up in your results. Usually, researchers use not after they analyze their search results and notice the trend showing up that was maybe implied by their search terms, but not what they really intended. Here's an example. You're writing a paper about David Copperfield, the novel by Charles Dickens, but you keep getting lots of results mentioning David Copperfield, the magician. Using not magician may clear out some unwanted records from your results. But be careful when using not, as you can exclude some good sources unintentionally in the process. Refining your search terms will often be a better solution than using not. For example, if you're researching Anne Hathaway, Shakespeare's wife, if you're getting too many results about Anne Hathaway, the actress, you may be better off insisting on including the word Shakespeare in the records rather than excluding the word actor or actress. In summary, searching by keyword is the most basic way to search in academic databases. Always put quotation marks around keywords you want to treat as a phrase, always. Boolean operators are powerful tools that help you combine keywords into complex searches. Boolean operators can be found in most library databases when you navigate to an advanced search, featuring more than one search box. But how do you come up with good keywords? To find out how, watch the video on constructing research statements. Follow the link in the description of this video.